doing that. And what I also like is I'm doing that already since a longer time, that I'm taking care with Ralph together to make something that is that help people in Qlik to have more advanced developing features. And I'm really happy also today to talk a little bit about Git to Qlik. This is also something that is new on the market. And I will also give everybody a short demo about that. And then I will come to the open source product, or it's not a product, it's an hobby of, but it's, I think, already on a good state, and we are still improving the product all the time. And then I will talk a little bit more about the VS Code plugin to do nearly the same things, but in a different way. But first, before we go there, I want to talk a little bit why. So what I say is, why do I as a Qlik developer not get the same tools as all our developers on this planet? So Qlik is a very cool product, and I'm using that product at least 12 years now. And Qlik was like 12 years ago, then I was get in touch, or that I was coming in touch with Qlik. It was, even from the developer perspective, a very cool software. It already had a good editor with syntax highlight, or with maybe if you wrote something wrong. But if you were looking into the whole platform over the years, there was a lot of standard products for charts, for other things. And I think nearly 10 years, there was nearly nothing done for developers. So this is something that I'm happy that this changed about 2 years ago, so that you have even now on Qlik Sense auto-completion that is not perfectly working, but already in a very good way. And all these other small things that are helping us as a developer to bring more performance on top of our work. And I see, even if it is not easy sellable for a salesperson, Qlik salesperson, but for the whole ROE, it's important if the developers can develop fast and safe and secure, or if they really struggle fix bugs, but introducing new bugs because they make copy-paste errors also on. So all these things that are very well known, I think, for all of us as developers. And in the last 10 years, there was a big progress on the market in general, what you have seen there. So versioning is now absolutely standard. So when I was doing versioning 20 years ago, then I started with Subversion and so on. There were already new developers that were liking and doing that, but I was seeing in a lot of companies that nobody was really doing versioning about 20 years ago, only if they really have to. But now I think it's since GitHub, this is the modern way, and everybody's doing that. And also all the main things that are now getting more and more into everybody, developers, tools like Cicd. What does it mean? It's continuous integration, continuous deployment. The ideas that you have fully automated ways to do things, like with scripting robots. So the same thing what we are doing with Qlik, that we automated transport data with script and make our analytics. It's the same way also to automatically deploy an app that is approved by somebody to a production system. At the moment, if you have a real big infrastructure with test and development areas, it's always a manual process. And all these manual processes always have the same risk. And the risks are that things will fail. And also the ideas of automatic testing. So even if they are already in the Qlik community or around products since years, I would say initiatives, but not really something that is really penetrating the market and really get everybody on board. There's still a big need to do some kind of these things. So this is like the main reason why I started to develop things that with Ralph Hanishka together for VS Code. Why I use Visual Studio Code, because Visual Studio Code is, even if it is from Microsoft, and a lot of people don't like Microsoft, but even if it is that, it's really getting, in my eyes, the new standard. So there are a lot of other editors around. And there are even people, they like VI as an editor, but now everybody don't use VI. The people are now using an VI plugin for VS Code, so that they have the old VI like shortcuts and so on, but they use it in a more modern way of an editor. So this is an editor that a lot of people put extensions on, and the cool thing there, they're extensible, is very easy. So my idea was more to coming from that developing tool stack around. The cool thing is, and this is what I like, on the next extension that I will introduce you first to is from Git to Qlik is, and this is coming from Alex, that is a Chrome extension. So Chrome is also a browser that is there. It's very easy to write extensions for, and also the way is that you have a good way to extend a lot of stuff. Like in the beginning, I would say like there are like two a little bit minus points. One is you have to use Chrome, but to be honest, nearly everybody is using Chrome, even if you say that is not so great, because they have now a big so they have now a very big impact on the market, and they can decide other things. So if they decide we want to kick out that extension, they just do it, and then the market is nearly has to follow. But in general, it's very broad use, and nearly in every company, it's now more and more normal to use Chrome. And even like for Qlik Sense, I especially say to every customer, use use Chrome, because I think in Chrome you have at the moment the best performance and the best user experience. So even if it is like a little bit a small minus, but it's not really something that is important. The other thing, and this is the more tricky thing, is you really have to take care that Qlik is not changing too much on the web page. The good thing is we know that if you open the Qlik Sense script editor from version 1.0 and even from version 0.9.8 from Qlik many years ago, it's looking nearly in the same way. All the buttons are nearly in the same way there. So the good thing for him is there was no big change in the long history, and there is maybe also not a big change there.
Konrad, may I shortly interrupt you? Can you show your screen, please? I think we lost it.
Oh, sorry. Okay, but I didn't stop it. But good that you mentioned it. I hope that now anybody can see my screen again. Can you see it now? Yes?
Can. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Okay. Yeah. So this is Git to Qlik, alias Git to Qlik. So because they were no more visible in the market, I think they got a letter from Qlik that it's not allowed to name them Qlik, and this is the reason that they have just a renaming, I think 5 days ago, something like this. So if you, for Google, search for Git to Qlik, you will also find them, but in the future they will be Git to Qlik. The main features what you have, and this is something what I will also show to you now, is that you can perfectly make version control from load script, from visualization. You have also now a nice feature to import sheets from different applications. Then there are something like a sheet thumbnail assistant. This is something that is not so, for me, so important related to the to versioning, but it's also something that is really cool to have a very easy way to do that. And there's also the nice idea that you can build in the future like open public load script libraries and share and import them, and even have like then there a way of versioning. So somebody can have a new version of like some script that calculates some special thing, and if you have that file, you can, if you open it, your app, you can then update that. The disadvantage, what I see here at the moment, is mostly that it's always driven from the way of doing it in the browser. So you have to open your app to do changes. But we will see what Alex will put on top there. The idea, what I at the moment see, is that they say that all the features that they're at the moment are mostly free, but they want to add features for teams, so that you have like working in a private team on things, or that you have things like Cicd, so continuous integration, continuous deployment, that these features are going more into the paid version. So we all have to see what's going on the market, but in the beginning, it's really cool, and I will show you now some minutes what you can do with that. So if you install it inside of your Chrome, you get something very easy. You get here that green button, what you see here. And if you click on that, you get these screen, and then you can do stuff with that. What I have already done is I have connected that app, so that Qlik app, this one GitHub repository. You can make it in the settings, and I did that in a way, in an automated way, that if you add here a new app to GitHub or to other repositories, that it's automatically private. You can also use, beside of GitHub, you can use GitLab, Bitbucket, BitServer, and also Azure DevOps at the moment. So they're introducing here more and more. The most important stuff is what you have to do is you have to add here one token, and you can even change things how you say, okay, I want to have, for example, if I add a new repository, that is automatically named in a way. And I have already did that connection. So what I can do now is I can change thing in here, and I can see even here in two changes what I have done. The easy way, what I will do now is with everybody of you, is that we just make a small script change just to have something simple. So I will go in here and I will say, okay, so, and then you have it in. And what you can do then is you can say, okay, no, I don't want to import that. I want to commit code to the repo. So I have made some changes, and I say, and what you can do here is you can always say what you want to include. So if you want to include the load script, if you want to include app objects, and even if you want to include reload tasks and data connections. In general, this is something that is very nice. You could play with that. The issue on data connections is that parcels at the moment are saved in clear text. So you have to take care of that. And even for app objects, it's at the moment more very general. But I think it's in the beginning, and even the beginning is amazing cool. So we will just make the change, commit it, say update, and now he is transporting that no, I did something wrong. Sorry, this was my mistake. So we do it again. Click here, commit to repo, and say commit. And what you now see, you have here the first check-in, the changes, and my change. The cool thing is you can just say, I want to go back to that. And now you see you have your old script. And if you want to go back again, so you can say, okay, there's a newer commit. I can go to the newest one and say update. I think at the moment I have to click too much things, but this is something we will see in the future, how the people will have it. But I think in general already to have that feature, to have an easily committing changes there and then can track them, it's something that is cool. We will have now a short look on the other side, how this is looking. So in my GitHub, he's just adding a repo. You see here 1 minute ago, I had my changes. I can also click here on the four commits and I see here the changes, what I have done. And you can even in the data load script say, okay, I go in the main QGS and then I can go to the history. And then I see here in GitHub now, I have to click, I think here. And now I see what I have done here, for example, changed inside of that file. So the system in the end automatically tracked that here for you. What he's doing, you see it very easily. He's at the moment putting each tab inside of your load script into an own file. And he's here adding these tab order so that he can take care of that. He's also adding all the other things. I added them some commits before, so that he's, for example, pushing all the app content. So these are all the PNGs and content files. It can be even the Excel files that are as a file added to the content. And you have also then all the app objects. There you have here all the things like dimensions, bookmarks, fields, master objects, and so on. And you will also find in here all the sheets. And inside of the sheets, you have then the sheet, and then you have all the properties that you have done. I will just show it to you because you will see, even if I think two people started the thing from the complete different point, even without knowing each other, like Alex and me, we are nearly at the same point. And I will also get will try to get very soon in touch with him, and we'll try to even synchronize the way how we are store the data here, because this gives in the future everybody the possibility to use our extension, even their extension, the same way. At the moment, they would not be compatible, but it's not very tricky point. So there are things that we have discussed from an architecture point, what we think what is the right thing, but in general, it's not an issue to do that. Going back from the script, so it's very easy. You just make your changes, go to commit, put in the change, and then you always can track back what you have changed there. But the cool thing is, this is also working on a sheet. So what I have just changed here is, you will see it very easily, that I made in the future, you will see if I go to an old version, you will see that coast saving is then getting not bold. At the moment it's bold, but it's then not bold. So what I do is, I go back here on the sheets to my first change and say, first check in, so this was the first version, make an update. You see the web page has updated, and then you see code setting is not bold. So what you see here is it's even very easy to check out a version again, compare it, and so on. At the moment, what I think is at the moment not easy enough is the whole thing of comparison, but this is something that we are also working on. And it's not so easy to make a good way to show every change, because at the moment you can, if you look into GitHub and look what has changed, it's not so nice because we have then a very big JSON with properties, and then you see on some property that there is something changed. So this is not so easy. Or if you, for example, move charts, the position has changed and so on. But in general, I think it's already very helpful to get rid of Sales Dashboard version 1, Sales Dashboard version 2, Sales Dashboard version 5, 10, 20, 50, whatever I've seen already. I also know a lot of people that have then Sales Dashboard version 2020, 11, 16, so for the day today, and maybe even a date for it. But even if you have that on your system, you have hundreds of Qlik apps, and you get crazy to take care of them and to handle them and to be happy with it. So this is something what I wanted to show you for that. So it's something very cool to start. The only tricky point is you need, for example, something like GitHub, and you also need on GitHub, you have to generate the security token and put it in. So I think this is something that should be in the future more handy, because for a Qlik developer who just wanted to have an easy start, it's struggling a little bit in the beginning, but in general, extremely cool. I really advise you to play with that, and this can also really help you on the daily work. Now I want to go a little bit back, but first I have to delete my security token, because especially if you make the GitHub dashboard or the session from today online, everybody would see one of my GitHub tokens, and that's not so good. So this is also some very simple thing. It should be cool that these personal access token is not always visible inside of extension at the moment, because, for example, if you have a developer, you could go to somebody else could, like, for example, easily steal the token, and this is not cool. So, like, this is something that is that are small things, but I think Alex can easily change these kind of stuff. This was that demo, and now I want to get to like more, would say, like my product, and this is the way. Delete. And now I deleted the top. Perfect. And now going back here, what we are doing is we try also nearly the same way. We implement a kind of virtual file system. So the idea is to map everything what is in an app, like dimensions, like measures, like the script, like data model, like sheets, like bookmark, and so on, in a kind of a file system, but it's a virtual file system, so it's not in reality at the moment as in the first step in files, to have all the easy functionality out of VS Code out of the box. They can wonderful write things and compare things and do all that stuff. So this was the first of our first development step. And we are at the moment also like Git to Qlik, introducing more and more features on top of that. There are things that are special and they're not so easy working. So if you, for example, think of an app on your system, you can have in Qlik two apps that have the same name but have a different ID. But in a file system, it's not possible to have two directories with the same name. Or also you can have in Qlik two sheets with the same name, but with different IDs. What Git to Qlik has done in the Git way, they only check in all these IDs. It's now very easy to work and it's perfectly, but the issue there is if you do that, you have the strange thing that you it's hard to read because nobody knows instantly out of an ID what is the sheet behind. So we are doing a lot of like intelligence behind the scenes so that we always try to take care of that. So what we do is, for example, if there are no apps, two apps with the same name, you just have them. But if you have two apps with the same name, the apps get the ID attached. but they still have a name. And so on, so that in the most situations with people, it will feel like it should be, like perfect, but there are some things that's not always 100% as cool as we would like to do it, but there are restrictions what we have. So the cool thing is what already was working there out of the box, and I can also show it to you later, is even copying sheets, measures, script, and so on across apps and even across servers are working out of our system out of the box since the beginning. So features that Qlik is now introduced, I think in the November release, that you can now copy complete sheets from one app to another, and not like all the years before. I think it's the last 5 years what we have, that we really have to manually copy objects. That this was a stupid part. And I will now in the next minutes give you a short demo about that extension. And then I will also talk a little bit what we are planning. So I cannot do it perfectly for Alex, for Qlik. I would like to have a more information about his roadmap, but the issue was that I didn't got in touch since I got aware of the Qlik, what he have introduced, and so there was not enough time to get that arranged. But hopefully, or maybe apply like in a half a year or something later, I can give a more updated session about the two products. And also my most wish is that we really get the two products in a good way together, so that we have it in a more consistent way. What you have here, VS Code is like a real coding. I will just close it. Coding editor, and this is also like the main intention. The cool thing on VS Code is you can download it for Linux, for for Mac, for Windows. No issue, so you have it on all platforms. And if you install it, it's also very easy. You just go here to the extensions, search for Qlik. You will find multiple things. Usually, I would say like install that one, VS Code to Qlik. So that's our extension, but also install the Qlik script support for Visual Studio Code, because they give you a very nice syntax highlight for Qlik. On our roadmap is a real language server, so that we can even in the future do much more sophisticated ways, like auto completion and so on. But like in general, these auto completion from Xavier is already a very cool thing. Now, if you have the commands, you have like two main commands. One is for connection settings. So in the connection setting, you can connect to different systems. At the moment, it's perfectly working to a QlikSense desktop, so like to localhost. It's perfectly working to normal QlikSense system where you have Windows authentication. It's very well working for Qlik Core, but even nobody is using it anymore, unfortunately. So for all the Docker instances, it's very well working. And it's also very well working for a QAP. So if you have also a QAP on Windows system, it's something nice, because in QAP, you have not the full functionality, and even there, this tool can be something very helpful to copy things in and out. We are at the moment, and there's a reason that you have at the moment have not seen any features, and I think the last 2 weeks. So we nearly try to have a new release every 2 weeks, at least every month, but a little bit more, because we are working to have also a browser login, so that you can log into any kind of system. So even if you have an Azure with a redirect over our SAML and then back to Qlik, or if you use Qlik Cloud or something else, so that we really got every authentication solved. The way how it is working is, if you connect to that kind of server, it will open a browser, a special browser for you, and then you log in into your system, and he's waiting until you are redirected back to the Qlik server. And after you are back on the Qlik server, you close it, or it's automatically closing, and then he's taking the session information and reusing the session information then inside of extension. So this is something that we are doing because it would really solve for us in the future all authentication issues what we have at the moment. And otherwise we had to implement too much stuff in the background. So you can just create a connection, put in your things. You also have a nice thing that you, for example, can store only your username, or you can even store your username, your password, even if you don't say that's a good way to do, you can do it. But my suggestion is for servers, store your username and your ID, and then you can easily connect. You only have to put in your password. If you have that, you can also put into like product and development system and have like the different connections. Now, I will show you a little bit more if you have that opened. If you now connect to a server, what happens is you see all the servers what you have in the settings. So I now connect to that system. And that's something with my coding version. Because I've just installed it. So I had to close the workspace. So connect to Qlik server. And what now happens is he is opening the password and asking for the password. What we also do is that we are trying to solve nearly every issue what you have in some networks, that you have timeouts after some time if you don't do anything and so on. So we really try to take care. If you have issues, please file a bug. So we had a very good conversation from David from Australia. He was helping us in the summertime a lot, that he was using that and had some bugs that he was finding because of his special environment. So please file a bug, and we really try to take care and to fix it very fast. But this is something that we need from the field, because you only from the field get all the things that are inside that you don't have seen before. Here in the output, we just put in also some logging features on, so that we see what happens, because it's important to really get that information. You have now here my work, and you have streams. I will, especially because it's a system, I only want to open that system. And now we go to the same system, or the same app, what we have seen before. And you can go in here and you see this is like your app, what you have here. You see all the script. What we do difference, and this is by intention, is that we don't take the tabs into different tabs, that we really have it one main QVS. And we want to implement in the future things with how it's called, language server, that you can, for example, easily jump to a tab, or that you can even fold tabs like you have it in other things, that you like collapse and open tabs, so that you can easily go through. So you can just change it. You can save it. So what you can do in here is you can go in here, say, okay, trace, this is my change, and save it, and then it's saved on the server. So what we can do, just to show it you, I will go in here and open it here. This is the same app on the server. Go into the script, and you see this is my change. Unfortunately, the the system of a Chrome editor or like even on Qlik is if somebody else making a change. Unfortunately, this is not reflected here, but we are doing that. So if somebody is using VS Code and changing things and making save, or even if you are making changes here inside of that script editor, you will automatically also see it here that is changed. But this is only working if you don't have changes on your side, because if you have the situation that can, for example, happen in our situation, what I have at the moment here, because we have there an environment where we allow that we have developing streams where people can work together on the same app. This is something what I really liked from the way how to develop things, because the workflow at the moment with always have an app in my work and have to make a copy to somebody else and so on. It's in my eyes not so cool. But if you do that, very easily the situation happens. The person, like in Qlik View, the person who's saving the file on the last time on the server wins. But this is not the right thing. So what we are doing here is then also showing a diff so that this is done. Hopefully that is working now, because the issue was that some minutes ago, and this is always a thing on live things, I tested this again. This was not working, and this is still at the moment not working. So there's a reason that I will also hand over in like 2 or 3 minutes to Rolf, because on his server it's perfectly working, and I don't know what's the issue at the moment here. I will show you the feature that if you change thing here, then here in the moment, and you have already made changes, that you get here automatically in diff, and you see that 2 persons are working on the same thing. What you can then easily do is take a telephone, call the person, or make a Teams meeting and say, come on, you're working here, can we combine it together? Or maybe somebody is stopping and the other person is finishing this out. What you also have here is very easily you can say, okay, I want to run the script, and you can also say, I want to cancel the current reload. And if you do that, I will just made it here at the moment. I think it's not taking too much time. You will see here the app was very small. He is putting out that, and then he's just going through data has been loaded as saved. So you can develop here things, just press a button, and if it's taking a little bit longer time, so I will simulate it with sleep, and we'll say, okay, we will wait 3 seconds. And I can say, okay, I start it again, and I see here uploaded, and then it's also after 3 seconds done. At the moment, you can only start 1 reload at the moment, but we are also working on a way to have that in multiple times to have all these features more fluent work. What you can do is you can easily copy that. So you could even copy that from one app to another, or you could even take that sheet here, that ad hoc sheet. I will just do it here on my work in some play thing here. No, this is the moment not so good to do. What I will do is I will add here a second folder, and I will do it. So I would just go here. So, and then I have here, for example, here another thing. There I have a chain script. I can, for example, take here this one and just copy it over someone else here, and then I replace it, and then I have it, for example, here. So all these things are very easy working because you're just doing file operations. You can even do it with full app. The idea for us is here that we have the dimensions, the measures, the script, the sheets, the variables, the visualizations as different folders, because we are thinking that it's something that are people used to. And what I also have taught to you is that you, for example, here has the header card or something else, a name, and then we are internally taking care that we are referencing the right ID. You have a possibility to change it. At the moment, we are mostly using YAML files because I think these are files that are more easy to handle for person if they manually make updates compared to JSON files. But you can also have a JSON file in the future, also an XML file. So whatever you want, you can do it. And what you can do then here is that you say, for example, even it doesn't make sense at the moment, but you can, for example, say I compare that. Compare with selected, and then I, for example, can here compare two things that are inside of in my app. That can be things that are from the same sheet, because it can be that I have two copied versions and I want to compare two sheets, or it can be that you also compare dimensions or other things, and then you want to see what is the what are the real changes behind there, if the expression is changed or something else. So our idea is really to come more from a developer workflow, that people that are used to developing apps, scripts, HTML, and so on. The Git to Qlik is more coming from the idea of an editor, of a Qlik editor, and enhance it there. And for me, and this is like what they already have that they have already a perfect Git integration that you can make that commit and commit back. For me, the disadvantage there at the moment, you have always these app one-to-one combination. This is something that we want to make different, and there's a reason why we have it at the moment not in, or we are working up to end of the year in that. For example, I describe it to you. You have an app, or you have multiple apps, and they are, for example, belong together, or you have one app that belongs to a load script. It's not very handy to have for the load script and for the app together two different Git repos. One thing is, you can, if you imagine, if you have hundreds of apps, you have then hundreds of Git repos. You get crazy. Another thing is, and this is something for versions or for releases that belong together, if you have a new release of a, for example, loading app, you want to say my app, my visual app, so my reporting app belongs to the version 2.4 of the loading app. And that we have this point of referencing of modules, and then I can load a module, and the module have again a version, and then he's taking the right version. And the important thing, what you then can do is you can, one side is you can have maybe multiple Qlik apps in one repo, because you say they were 100% together, and if I make changes, I always want to have them all in a consistent state. Or you can have these references between them. So these are things that we at the moment are like thinking about how to do that in a good way, to solve that issue in a really cool and consistent way. So for me, these dependencies are also one thing that is struggling. And after we have solved that, we also want to go in the idea of Cicd. So the idea is, for example, you are developing on your development system a new version, and then you can have a really fully automated deployment, for example, to the Qlik cloud or to another system that is somewhere visible outside and reachable from your CD platform. So this is the reason why we are implementing everything here, also in JS, also like in JavaScript. So it's very easy to put into a Docker container. You have maybe already heard that name, and then you can very easily integrate that Docker container into any kind of well-known platform to reuse it. And but I believe this is something for the next year and not for this year. But still, these are the things there where we really want to drive the future to done. So that roadmap is not anymore actual, because that roadmap was the roadmap from the Qlik world. So that was from June. So it's at the moment perfectly listed in the marketplace. At the moment, this is still on the roadmap, the business cloud and the Qlik on Kubernetes. So we hopefully, and multiple systems, or like every kind of authentication system, we are very in a very good mood to have that in I think in the end of November. Run script is now already perfectly working, so we are also working on debug script so that you can say breakpoints and can even go through it like you used to have it inside of your Qlik Sense. Also maybe things like exploring data model, data tables, and so on to have an easy way to do that. And also like we really live from your ideas. So a lot of things that are, for example, at the moment in the product are coming from David Wolf from Australia. So it can be far away, it can be very close. It would be really nice to have you also there on this repo, and it's, be honest, like it's not very complicated. Go to the web page, make a new issue, say this is my feature request, and just describe what you want. Very easy, put it in. At the moment we have two very helpful people. This is mostly Rolf. Just want to look if I have here the bigger picture. Now it's here's Rolf seeing, and me. We are try to answer very fast, and I think at the moment we are doing that very well. Put in your thing, and we will discuss it with you and really try to put in more and more features there. And also, if you like us, give us a star. That's always nice. We live only not from money, so maybe also you can put on a sponsor, but we have only at the moment one sponsor, so it's not too much. So we cannot actually live for it. It's a hobby, but at least for a hobby, it's nice to have people they put on stars and give them the feeling that they really give you the things what you need. There's my, sorry. So if you also want to contribute, you can even clone and compile it. You can also put in there features or ideas or fix bugs, or maybe, for example, fix the translation issues or something else. We really would appreciate that, but we know and we are like aware that this will be not the main contribution, but it would be already really nice if you can give ideas and feature wishes. Yeah, so that's from my side all. I thank you for the time that you followed my session, and now it would be nice to open the chat or even like open the voice, but I think it would make sense if the people do it step by step, not all in all, so that we don't get in too much trouble with sound.
Great. So thank you, Konrad. I will give permission to everyone to share voice commands or to share your voice right now. So you should be able to unmute you. Yeah, please let's try to keep it in some order. Maybe I start off with the first and maybe most obvious question to Konrad, and this is on my side. Why is it not in the standard already? And did you talk to Qlik about this? What did they tell you?
For VS Qlik, or like I have since so I'm working already a long time to develop products for the Qlik platform, and they always like these kind of contribution, but they have the idea that they have their roadmap and their ideas where the product is going, and they are not really have the intention or the idea to put these open source contributions into the main line. They do it already a little bit with the extensions, so with the supported extensions, but I think in general they wanted to have a big contribution and a big market around there. For me, the most issue for me, or this is like the most missing point in the whole ecosystem, is for me that there's no real marketplace. if we would have a real marketplace like the Google Play Store, the Apple App Store, or something else, I think we would have much more tools for a low price, and people would like to have that. And also for your question back is, it would not make sense that Apple try to combine each of the extensions of their iOS platform into their main product. So it really makes sense to have that ecosystem. The issue is not the missing marketplace.
Yeah, thank you, Konrad. Christoph here. My question that I thought about when you have a perfect folder structure that is around a single app, and you can take things out of one folder, which links in the backend into another app, move things around from one to the other. Do you have a concept in your mind that takes a larger bundle that goes beyond an app? You mentioned something like, okay, there is a reload app. I think that's a QVD generator or whatever. What if this is not even an app, but something like external script libraries, server-side extensions, extensions itself, or mashups, so things that are all over the place in the QMC? Is there a vision to support a larger deployment bundle than app by app?
So for me, there is a vision to have that in the future, but for example, for extensions, this would not be possible because on the server you can only have one version of an extension on the server. So this is the idea what I want to have in the way like it is done on the general way of doing software, is that there are requirements for packages. So the system, so the app stores, I require at least Vislib KPI version something else. And what I want to have is in the beginning just a message or something else that it's giving you a warning, say, come on, you have here a conflict, so you have here an issue. In the future, it would be nice to have that. At least if you have a real cool Cicd, you need that because you are, for example, using on your developing system a new extension and play with that. And what you want is if you transport that app to the product system, that automatically all the extensions, everything is transported together into the production system with the transport. But in the beginning, for me, it's more first to raise the hand, giving them also I would like to have that in the future, but not for every of that problems what we developers have in the market. I have at the moment a good idea how to really solve it in a good way. And so from us, it's at the moment more iterative to go step by step and to see what is working, change it, and maybe adjust it, and then add the next feature and so on. But it's a plan to have that. To add it there, this is the reason what I see in all big enterprise deployments, so that they are struggling with these kind of issues. And then they put a lot of process on top of that, like paperwork and people that are checking things. But I think this is not a good solution for things that can be automatically done out of this system.
Any other questions? Okay, then maybe from my side, one more question. I think you addressed it, but I would like to verify it. Since I'm working in an OEM environment, we have a lot of standard applications, and I think your tool could be a great opportunity to update standard code. Do you plan special functionalities? Because as I see it right now, I would have to copy manually changes to the script to, let's say, X client systems.
No, what you could do at the moment, if you, for example, it's even manual at the moment, I know, but it's already working. What you could do is you could, for example, at the moment connect to different client systems and then copy the whole app over to the system just as a folder, and he's completely overwriting everything that is there, or for example adding sheets that are new on top of that. In the future, we are planning to have all these kind of functionality also as automated tasks, so that you can have command line tools or other things to do that in an automated way. So I fully see that need, but we like to first, at the moment, with that Visual Studio Code tool, see if everything is working the right way. And my idea in the future is that you have a Git version, for example, somewhere, or a Git repo, there you push your new app, and then you could have even functionality on the client side that automatically fetches new version and put it into the server.
Would be awesome.
I have a quick question. Sorry. Hi, I'm Alex. I was just wondering regarding the first thing you showed with the link to the repository. Would this be a good option then for example, you're working in a team and you have several people that are working on the app. At the moment, only one person can work in. Would this be then a better opportunity for more than one developer to work at the same time and then later accept the changes by the others?
In general, really, to work multiple people on one app, it's at the moment still tricky.
Yeah, okay.
And what you can do is you can do that way, because with the Git to Qlik, what you can easily do is all people can work even on their own app, but work against one GitHub repo together. What the people really have to do then is that they always check out, for example, a new sheet. So you can even, with Git to Qlik, you can say, okay, I want to check out that sheet and I want to, for example, check in a new sheet, and so that you can work that together. If you have a possibility to take care that you don't have too much overlap, at the moment, there's even possibilities inside of Qlik that you can extend your security rules to make development streams possible, so that a bunch of people can really work on the same time in the app. I think at the moment it's even the more, it's not the most consistent way, but it's a more easy way for everybody. But you should do that, or it would be possible to do what you have described with the Git to Qlik. So I really would prefer to you just play with it and see if this is or this can solve your issue.
Okay, thank you.
No more questions.
Hello, Matthias here. Konrad, do you plan an integration in enterprise SaaS solution? Because I read on your slide that you plan to integrate a cloud business solution.
We plan that we can connect also like to Qlik Cloud and also like to enterprise. So if somebody built their own private SaaS environment on top of the Kubernetes platform or on top of Windows something else. So we really want to have it on the Qlik ecosystem, but we are focusing only of the Qlik ecosystem, so not any further. So not like to have it also for Power BI, Tableau, or something else now.
Okay, thanks.
Konrad, are you actually planning or using usually a sort of, how to put it, a QPS service wrapper, something that, you know, you always wanted to have, Qlik doesn't give it to you because it takes multiple steps. And do you usually in your deployments spin up something like this?
So usually in our deployment we don't do that, and I like to have everything from the outset possible. I see the request to have like this something inside of a Qlik deployment, but I like to do it more from outside with going only over standard API and use it there. Because especially if you come to large enterprise deployments, you get then the issue of that you need really a product, that you need maintenance contracts and so on. And it's always the kind of support. The good thing is on the API from the outside, I can say it's the API, it's supported. Come on, if it is not working, it is crashing, it's their fault and not the fault of somebody who has input something there. So there's a reason we try always to do everything from outside just with a connection.
Yeah, that's what I exactly meant. So writing not hacks, but things to give you a specific example. Refresh design of an app. Of course, we can do it now. You showed up 2 very good ways to do that, but I mean, usually the management console only offers the way to replace the app together with the design, or to leave the target app without data. Both is stupid, because usually you want not to touch the data of the target app if you want to just refresh the design. So I wrote it as an endpoint myself, spin up a new,
Node.js.
Yeah, maybe Node.js or Python or whatever. I did it Node.js because I know that. And I need to call a couple of things, mix of Engine API and QRS API, but I get it done. So this is what I mean. Or another example would be set the friendly username of a user, or add a user without, the need of somebody to first log in so that it shows up, and without the need to have a directory synchronization. Or I can think of probably a dozen examples where you can do it on API level if you know how to, but there's no friendly way to wrap it into something. So this could.
Yeah. So we try to, at least from our side, we try to fully wrap all these tasks inside of source code, so that you have the most things, then right click on the Explorer, then you have special items where you can say you do that, and then you can just take care of that. Because what I see at the moment for me is the most Qlik developers are product users, and not, I would say, real developers. It's not something against the developers, but it's not a coder. People, they write code, they use API calls and so on. For me, a Qlik developer is somebody, they write Qlik script, they write very complex Qlik expressions, but they want to have a really nice and friendly user interface where they have everything on a mouse click and not this commands and CLI and so on. There are maybe people like you and me, but I think this is only a few people in the whole Qlik developer community. Any other questions?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, perfect.
Hi, Patrick. I have a fairly technical question. You showed us the structure of this Qlik at the current time, so it's a virtual folder structure. Yeah. Is there any way, are you caching the files at system level or something, so you can take contents of the script, for example, pipe it into another tool and push it back to the extension? Is there a possibility for applying linters or code formatters?
Yes. So at the moment, it's not real in the file system. It would be absolutely easy to just have a copy in the file system so that you can do these kind of stuff and even read it back. Our ideas at the moment, like for linters and so on, is more to do it inside of source code as another extension. So we want to have a language server feature on top with refactoring and all that features that people are used from other coding languages. The idea of to have it as a copy of a file system in the real file system is mostly for me at the moment to have it for versioning, so that we automatically save it in the folder, and that folder is a version folder, so that we can show if there are changes and who has made the change, and then they can commit it and so on. And this is something that we really have to write it into the file system and cannot use the virtual file system. But at the moment, it's not really planned. But Patrick, it would be also great if you have more features you can, or feature ideas, we can discuss it now, or can also later, would be nice if you can just write an issue and describe what you want to do and what is your use case. And then we can see if we can easily integrate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, if there are no more questions coming in, we'll stay for 5 more minutes. If you have a late question, feel free. And otherwise, I say big thank you, Konrad, for taking your time to take us through this for more than an hour. It's for me very helpful, things that I really can use in projects. And for the live demo. Thanks also for the participants. Yeah, just a recap again. So our next meetup, which will be in New Year, on the 18th of January. We will have Rob Wunderlich from Qlik Cookbook show us something. We will announce the agenda as soon as we have fixed it. And yeah, otherwise, because it's the last, is it the last one this year? We have to say in early, it's the first time I say this now, Happy New Year. Then we see you next year. And of course, Merry Christmas and stay safe. Stay away from the virus.
Yeah, that's really great. Yeah, stay away from the virus.
Yeah, we just have seen the second lockdown here in Austria, so that's yeah.
Great, and thank you from my side too. Christoph wrapped it already up very well. We will put links to the presentations, of course. Please, Konrad, send me your presentation in PDF.
I will do that.
And of course we will show you a link to the to our YouTube channel where you can see the recording later on. Yeah. And so far, thank you everyone. We had 50 participants. That is our highest score so far. I think it's working great. Yeah. So yeah. Stay tuned. I think we have a very good lineup. We also have a fourth meetup session already in planning where it comes to Python integration and big data. So I think there is a lot of interesting things for you. And if you have other ideas, or even if you are a developer and have something to show, get in touch with us. We would love to hear it. So this is it from our side. Thank you. And yeah, I will stop the recording now.